All right, let's jump right in. Welcome back to The Explainer. We are doing something, well, honestly, something incredibly unique today. Now, as focused learners, you're totally used to parsing through dense data, right? Massive data sets, complex research papers, multi-layered articles, the whole shebang. But what happens when the source material we have is microscopic? What happens when our entire universe of information for the day consists of exactly 12 words? Well, we're going to slow down completely. We're going to put these few words under a microscope, break them down to their absolute atomic level, and extract the immense weight hiding inside them. So get ready to look at language, loss, and history in a completely different way.
Okay, here it is. This is our entire source text for today's analysis. I want to read this slowly, and I want you to really listen to the rhythm. Excerpts from the Lost Library of Ashurbanipal. The Lost Library of Ashurbanipal. Take a second, and just let the absolute brevity of that sink in. Notice the repetition? Listen to how it loops. The Lost Library of Ashurbanipal. It's like a closed loop of information, right? Kind of like an echo trapped in an empty room. It introduces this incredibly grand subject, and then it simply repeats the name of that exact same subject.
So let's start breaking this down by isolating the very first word, excerpts. I mean, what does it actually mean to hold an excerpt? By definition, an excerpt is a fragment. It's a splinter broken off from a much larger, unseen body of work. Think of it like holding a single torn piece of a photograph. You can see a fragmented image, sure, but the context, the background, the other people in the frame, that's forever obscured. By kicking off with this word, our source material is instantly telling us, right out of the gate, that we are not getting the whole picture. It forces us to ask, what does it mean to possess only fragments of a much larger unknown whole? It immediately establishes this really heavy tone of incompleteness.
Moving on, let's dive into our first thematic chunk here, which is really all about defining that heavy, emotional state of absence.
Let's look at the word lost. The text explicitly defines its subject as being in a perpetual state of absence. It isn't just the Library of Ashurbanipal. No, it's the Lost Library. Think about the massive void that word implies. To call something lost is very, very different from calling it destroyed or unwritten. Destroyed has this devastating finality to it, but lost has a lingering, haunting openness. It implies that somewhere, somehow, maybe beneath layers of desert sand or forgotten in some uncatalogued basement, it might literally still exist, but it's just entirely out of our reach. It's a formal, tragic declaration of absence.
I want you to really sit with this for a second. What does it actually mean for a vast, sprawling body of knowledge to be officially declared lost? The sheer scale of that absence is absolutely staggering. We aren't talking about a misplaced key or a dropped coin here. We are talking about an entire ecosystem of thought, ancient scientific records, poetry, human endeavor that has just slipped through the cracks of time. Thousands of lifetimes of work simply gone. And yet, the very fact that we are sitting here talking about it means it hasn't vanished entirely from human consciousness, right?
Actually, this brings us to a crucial point, something I call the paradox of absence. By officially titling it the Lost Library, the source text firmly establishes that it once had a tangible, very real existence. I mean, you cannot lose something that never was. The labor of lost is, ironically, the ultimate proof of its past reality. The void itself takes on a very specific shape. We know exactly what is missing, even if we have absolutely no idea where it went or how to ever get it back.
Okay, so what exactly is missing? Let's look closer at the specific vessel of this absence.
The noun we're dealing with is library. And a library is never just a pile of random documents, is it? A library is the ultimate symbol of order. It's human curation at its absolute highest level. It's the place where we take the infinite, messy, chaotic data of the universe and we organize it, we categorize it, and we protect it. A library is a highly deliberate act of preservation. It's essentially a fortress built to protect organized thought against the natural decay of memory and time.
And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates the central tension within our source text. We're looking at a massive collision of two totally opposing ideas. On one side, you have the chaotic, unstructured void of being lost, literally the ultimate state of disarray. On the other side, you have the meticulous, rigid structure of a library, the ultimate state of order. The phrase forces these two concepts to sit right next to each other, locked in this permanent struggle. It's the ultimate state of order swallowed whole by the ultimate state of chaos.
But wait, remember the very first word of our source text, excerpts? If we possess excerpts, it profoundly challenges the absolute finality of the word lost. It begs a huge question. Can a curated collection of thoughts ever truly disappear if fragments of it are still echoing all the way into the present? The architectural structure may be completely gone, the physical library might be lost, but the thoughts themselves? The fact that we have excerpts proves they are stubbornly refusing to be entirely erased.
All right, let's shift gears to the final, honestly kind of imposing part of this whole phrase, the anchor for all these abstract concepts.
Ashurbanipal. Say it out loud to yourself right now. Ashurbanipal. Just let those syllables resonate for a second. In our tiny 12-word source text, this is the sole human element. We have fragments, we have absences, we have a massive structure of knowledge, and then, towering over all of it, we have a name. A distinct, imposing human identity rising right out of the lost text.
Now, this name brings up a really fascinating dynamic of possession. The text says it is the Lost Library of Ashurbanipal. So who claims ownership over lost knowledge? Does the library belong to the king who originally commanded its creation? Does it belong to the scribes who meticulously curated it? Or does knowledge simply revert back to belonging to time itself once it falls into ruin? The phrase of Ashurbanipal firmly stamps one individual's eternal authority over this massive, silent void.
So this proper noun acts as a really critical anchor. Without the name Ashurbanipal, a lost library is just a vague, tragic concept, right? It's purely an abstract idea. But by attaching this very specific name, the text gives the lost, excerpted library a sharp focal point. It turns a philosophical concept into a distinct historical shadow. We aren't just missing any random collection of books, we are missing his books. We are missing the mind of Ashurbanipal. The void now has a human face. Let's bring all these individual pieces back together and see what happens when they interact.
Watch how this stacks up as we methodically walk through the sequence. Notice how each term layers a heavy, compounding meaning onto the next one. Step 1, we start with excerpts, which gives us the harsh reality of fragmentation. Step 2, lost, which introduces the grand, sweeping scale of absence. Step 3, library, giving that absence the shape of organized human order. And Step 4, Ashurbanipal, assigning a single human owner to this ordered absence. Each word fundamentally changes the color and the weight of the word right before it.
So here is the core title once more, The Lost Library of Ashurbanipal. I want you to hear it now with the accumulated weight of that semantic deconstruction we just did. It's no longer just a string of words, is it? All of that human ambition, all of that devastating loss, and the incredibly fragile miracle of its fragmented survival, all of it packed into just 5 words. It is a highly, highly compressed epic.
But we have to step back and look at the entire source text exactly as it was originally given to us. When we do that, it creates a stark, almost jarring contrast. We have the first half, excerpts from the Lost Library of Ashurbanipal. And then, after the colon, we have the second half, the Lost Library of Ashurbanipal. It is an exact echo. The source text promises us excerpts from this grand lost thing, and then the excerpt it actually provides is just the name of the thing itself. It offers no contents, no secrets, literally only its own label.
The punctuation right there in the middle is absolutely fascinating. The colon. In grammar, a colon is a gateway. It promises delivery. It basically says, look right here. What follows is the substance of what I just announced. But in our text, the colon acts as a mirror, reflecting the title directly back onto itself. It promises excerpts, but it only delivers the title. It's like a door that opens up, only to reveal a solid brick wall.
And this leads us to a deeply fascinating interpretive question about the tone of our source material today. Why echo the phrase rather than expanding upon it? Is this just a dry, formal title page format? Or, given the profound loss we've been discussing, is this repetition actually a haunting lament? Is it like calling out a name into a vast empty canyon and only hearing the name bounce back to you? Excerpts from the Lost Library, and the echo sadly replies, the Lost Library. Ultimately, this explainer highlights the sheer, undeniable power of brevity, a mere 12 words in total, a core concept of just 5 words. Yet, because of the extremely specific choices of those words, the paradox of lost, the structure of library, the anchor of a name, and the promise of excerpts, it manages to evoke a massive sense of history, of mystery, and of profound intellectual loss. It proves, for sure, that you don't need 1,000 pages to convey a universe of meaning. Sometimes, the most profound stories are told by what is left entirely unspoken. As we wrap up, I just want to remind you that within the boundaries of our explainer today, these few echoing words are the entirety of our universe. All we have are the excerpts. We don't have the shelves, we don't have the clay tablets, we don't have the answers. We are essentially left standing outside the doors of a building that no longer exists, holding a sign bearing its name. We just have the linguistic shadow of what once was, bouncing back and forth across a colon.
Which leaves us with this final, lingering thought to take away today. If a vast library of organized human thought representing lifetimes of relentless curation can be reduced to nothing more than a lost concept, an excerpted echo, what remains of us when only the title survives? When the contents of our lives, our own personal libraries, are totally gone and all that is left is a name attached to a void. It's an incredibly compelling, haunting mystery hidden in a single missing library. Thank you so much for diving into this with me. Keep analyzing, keep questioning, and I will see you in the next explainer.